All right, today we're going to keep working on answering questions while we read. I know last time we read, we focused on who, when, and where. Today we're going to use all of our question words. We're going to use who, what, when, where, why, and how. We're going to go over our new words just to kind of refresh ourselves on what our answers are going to be when our word questions start with these words. Let's look at the word what. If a question starts with the word what, your answer will probably be a thing or an action. It'll probably be a thing like a flower or a cupcake, or it also might be an action like jump roping. If I were to ask you a question that says why, your answer is going to be a reason. A lot of times this will start with the word because. And then lastly, we have how. How might be how many. Your answer might be a number. Or it also might be the way to do something. You might be explaining that when you put milk in a glass, you have a glass of milk. So today we're going to be answering questions using who, what, when, where, why, and how. You can even sing our question word song at home to help you remember all of our question words. Now, today we're going to be reading this story, The Way Home for Wolf, by Rachel Bright and Jim Field. Now, if you're in my class, you might have heard this story last week. This week, we're going to get to read it again, and we're going to get to answer some questions while we're reading. The Way Home for Wolf. The Way Home for Wolf. As a rainbow of lights flickered soft in the night, dusting diamonds of ice in a desert of white, the wild, whipping wind is whistled its tune to a howling of wolves in a shimmering moon. And the loudest aroo in this echoing song was a wolf called Wilf at the heart of the throng. He loved to be fierce and longed to be grown. He liked to try everything, all on his own. Look at me, I am big, I am tough, he would growl, while he showed off his strength and practiced his prowl. One night it was time for the wolves to move on. New folks had moved in, and their shelter was gone. So they left right away to find a new cave. They would have to walk far, and they'd have to be brave. Now, I have a question. I want to know why. I want to know why was it time for the wolves to leave? Why did they have to leave? Now, I know if my question starts with our word why, a lot of times it's going to be a reason, maybe with the word because. Now, remember, good readers look back in our picture to find our answers and also back in our words. Let me look in our pictures. Looks like they might all be leaving. Some of them don't look very happy. They might be nervous. Ooh, it looks like somebody might be in their cave. He looks like he might be mad at this polar bear. Let me look back at the words. One night it was time for the wolves to move on. New folks had moved in, and their shelter was gone. Oh, so it was time for the wolves to leave. The reason why the wolves need to leave was because new people, it said new folks had come into where they used to live. And looking at this picture, I think it must be a polar bear. So I think the reason that they had to move on was because polar bears had taken their home. They struggled through snow as high as their flanks and leapt over rocks as they scaled icy banks. Wolf gave his all to keep pace and keep up, but strong-willed as he was just a pup. Ooh, I have a really good question for you guys. I want to know when. I want to know when did they leave? I want you to use your picture clues as well as your words to tell me when did the wolves decide to leave. I'm going to give you a few seconds. I want you to think of your answer. I want you to either say it out loud to yourself or tell a family member. When did the wolves leave? Now, I bet a lot of you looked back at this picture and you said, I don't see the sun and it looks a little dark. So I'm thinking they must have left at the nighttime. Let's see. If we look back at the words, it says they struggled through snow as high as their flanks and leapt over rocks as they scaled icy banks. Wolf gave his all to keep pace and keep up, but strong-willed as he was still just a pup. So our words did not tell us when. Our words didn't tell us when. I know that should be a time, but I'm looking at our picture and I see some stars. I see the sky looks dark. They must have left at the nighttime. If you said nighttime, kiss your brain. He kept dropping back with each clamber and climb. As the pack journeyed farther away all the time, exhausted and breathless, he strayed off the track when a blizzard blew in. And he lost his way back. Wolf longed to howl help and to holler it loud, but his throat was too hoarse and his heart was too proud. He lay on the tundra, his tail curled up tight. A blanket of stars was his bed for the night. Now, I have a question. I want to know why. I know that's going to be a reason, maybe starting with the word because. Why did Wolf not yell out help? I want you to use your pictures and your words to tell me why did he not yell out help? Looking back at our pictures, I see that he looks like he might be sad. He might be scared looking at his face. Let's look at our words. Wolf longed to howl help and to holler it loud, but his throat was too hoarse and his heart was too proud. So Wolf didn't. The reason why was because his throat was hoarse. That means his throat was a little dry. His voice might have been going away, and his heart was too proud. He was too embarrassed to call out help. Crack went the ice, and crack and creak. Wolf jumped to all fours with a deafening shriek. He stuck out the claws on every limb. He had to hold on because wolflings can't swim. Then he fell, rolling and spinning. It felt like the end, but it was just the beginning. Since somebody down there had heeded his scream and was swooped from beneath like a watery dream. I'll help you, she called. Just reach for my horn. A majestic and magical sea unicorn. Wolf's pride washed away, and he stretched out a paw, and she lifted him gently back onto the shore. Now, I have a question. I want to know who. Who was it that lifted Wolf to the shore? Who helped Wolf? If you used your pictures to help you answer, you might have looked, you see Wolf, and then you see this whale with it looks like a sea unicorn. Let's look at our words. And she swooped from beneath like a watery dream. I'll help you, she called. Just reach for my horn, a majestic and magical sea unicorn. A sea unicorn helped Wolf. Don't worry, she sung before dipping her brow. My friend, Mr. Walrus, will help you out now. And there, right behind him, a huge tusky fellow lifted his whiskers and let out a bellow. To the ridge, he proclaimed, with his chin in the air, my friend, mighty muskox, will take you from there. And with waftings of fish and a very loud snort, their journey was made, and their travel seemed short. Ooh, I have a question on this page. I want to know how long was their travel? You might look in the pictures or look up here in the words. How long was their travel? Well, I see they look pretty happy as they're traveling. And if we look at the words, it says, in the waftings of fish and a very loud snort, their journey was made and their travel seemed short. So how long? We don't have an exact number, but we know that it was short. Their travel was short. And there, sure enough, on the ridge was the ox, who took Wolf as far as his friend Arctic Fox, who followed his nose through the trees to a goose, who guided him honking to this ancient moose. The moose knew these wilds like no other soul. He was steady and true in pursuit of their goal. And as twilight closed in, Moose sang out a call to a fluttering, tiny fluff ball, a bear moth who showed Wolf the rest of the way to the place where this wolfling most wanted to stay. Thank you, Wolf waved as he rejoined his pack, and the wolves howled with joy that their wolfling was back. They huddled him in and cuddled him close and fussed over which wolf had missed him the most. Wolf, he knew then, that when all come together, the darkest of times are easy to weather. Now, I have a question. I want to know what did the wolves do when Wolfling returned? What did the wolves do? I want you to look in the pictures and look back at our words and tell me aloud, what did the wolves do when Wolfling returned? Now, I know when we answer a what question, it might be a thing or it might be an action. Looking at this picture, I see that the wolves look like they might be kissing him. They look so excited. They're all huddled around him. Let's look at the words. They huddled him in and cuddled him close and fussed over which wolf had missed him the most. Wolf, he knew then that when all come together, the darkest of times are easy to weather. What? I think it must be an action. When Wolf returned, all of the wolves were cuddling him and hugging him and were telling him how much they missed him. So he bowed to the narwhal, ox, walrus, and goose, and bowed to the fox and the moth and the moose. If ever I meet one who strayed off their track, I'll help them along by guiding them back. And true to his word, Wolf is different now, and his world seems much smaller and warmer somehow, since wherever life takes you, wherever you roam, we're all just a handful of friendships from home. The end. Now, this was a great story about being a good friend, about helping others, and I know that you guys did a great job of answering all of our questions while we were reading. If you were watching this alone, make sure to tell a family member or a friend about all that you learned, all the questions that you answered, and I want you to keep working at home on answering questions while you read.